Backstreet. I'm gonna forget too. And we're trying to make you more lit than you already are. How you say your last name? Jacoby? I'm not gonna say your last name, but I just want.
Vicky JX. No, I'm just kidding. Vicky from the block.
We are over here at the Bleacher Report court. Shout out to Ben Osborne. Without him, this would not be possible. You know, I kind of feel like there's no introduction needed, but we obviously, for those who don't know, I'm sitting here with Vic, AKA Count on Vic, on Twitter, Instagram, one of my close friends within this industry, and one of the people who have the patience with me regarding all things basketball. Because I've never fronted. I'm not the basketball connoisseur. I love watching it. I love going to live games. But you start talking anything technicality with me, I'm like,
you don't know Russell Westbrook's shooting percentage?
Yo, you pop quizzing me on that?
But I will say, if I need like any type of sneaker advice, you're definitely the person.
Yeah, see, we complement each other. The women that I bring on not only inspire people, they're also my good friends. If you want to know the true definition of hustle, that's this girl right here. Like, I've just from a year and a half, we've really known each other now, because we met when I was at Flight Club. And the trajectory that you've made in your career, literally from just like getting into the right places and not getting in because, you know, you necessarily had a way in. You made your own way in. For you, for what I've seen, I just sit there in awe. That line, that tagline, ball is life, that's you. That's the epitome of Vic. Like, I really feel like that's your mantra in life, because it's like, that's really what you've done. Ball is life. But how do you think that really reflects you and everything that you do?
You know, you did mention that I did kind of start from scratch, because, you know.
Yeah, tell us about that. Like, you don't have to get into the super nitty gritty, but if someone was to write kind of like a real high level trajectory of you from like maybe when you started working a little bit with franchise to now, and just some of the highlights that you've done, you know, how did you get from point A to point now?
Point A was college Vic. I was just doing psychology because I didn't really know what I was aiming to get into.
Right.
Like further down.
And that's fair. A lot of people don't.
Yeah, I was kind of like more of a slacker. Now, you live in New York, there's just so much going on around you.
Right.
I didn't really get to experience that in high school. It took time for me to really get accustomed to the city. It took about 2 or 3 years. And then high school, like I said, it was a private Jewish school. Like, you start at 8 a.m. and you're done at 5. So.
Oh my gosh.
It wasn't, and then I have tennis and homework, and that was my life. Like, at some point in my life, it was crazy. I knew nobody in nightlife. I didn't know what any clubs were, nothing like that. And everyone my age, 16, 17, 18, was already going out.
Right.
I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And everybody started talking about Twitter and, you know, players getting on Twitter. So I think it was prom night, Game 7 of the 2010 NBA Finals.
Wow.
Lakers, Celtics. For those who don't know, most of you do know, but I'm a huge Laker fan.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of wanted to see the game. It was the fourth quarter. They were like, yo, stop the music. They stopped the music. So instead of yearbook pictures, we had the game on, fourth quarter.
So y'all basically hijacked the projector at prom.
Yeah, took my shoes off.
Projected.
I told my date, literally, like, Dave Chappelle, get out of my face. And I was like, we're watching this game.
Yo, you guys really hijacked prom to watch Game 7. I 1000% respect that. And so basically it was at that moment, you know, that you were kind of like, yo, I have to somehow be involved in this.
Not involved. I just wanted a platform to talk about it. I wanted to talk shit with Celtics fans.
Yeah.
I wanted to hype the Lakers up. I wanted to talk about how crazy that Game 7 was. And Kobe talking about having 5 and matching Magic Johnson. I didn't really know like where to take that energy. I took it to Twitter. It was the perfect outlet for that. Especially on Twitter, it's like a community. So you come for one of us, you come for everybody.
What brings a lot of people's stories out is kind of like the good of social media. You know, ultimately we all agree on it gives people a platform. You know, I could watch these award shows or wrestling events or anything, and yeah, I'm by myself, but Twitter made me feel like all these people are in my living room.
Together.
Yes,
Right?
it almost made you feel like you were also there doing exactly what you mentioned, that shit talking, you know, or camaraderie, or even learning some shit.
I learned more about the game, definitely.
Do you think being on Twitter kind of helped you figure out your path a little bit?
I feel like back then it wasn't very common to have a social media job.
Right.
Or it wasn't something I was aware of, at least. I didn't know that this could become something more than what it just was, which was, you know, being a fan on Twitter. Your girl just wanted to meet Kobe Bryant. Like,
right.
I wasn't even, it's funny because I say this to like close friends, but I'm like, do you guys realize I finessed a career to meet my favorite player?
You manifested it.
Right, I made it happen because I was like, I just want to meet him, and then, you know, or talk to him. And then, you know, 2013, funny enough, the guy the least expect him, you know, to be on Twitter is Kobe, and he makes a Twitter. And that year he had the Achilles injury, he got hurt. My guy had some time on his hands.
Yeah.
So he followed me. He was following about.
Oh snap! How did you feel when you saw that notification?
It was the first day of Passover. It was Passover night. I jumped on my dad. I was like, Kobe, 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 and I just jumped on his back.
And was it something that you tweeted that maybe he liked and followed, or it was just like you were like, well, what the fuck, Kobe Bryant is following me on Twitter?
He had already been following one of my friends.
Okay.
On there. You know, she said, listen, he just responded to me. He's online. I had this Black Mamba shirt that I got from Nike. I took a picture of it, and I posted it. I tweeted at him, and I said, oh, look what I just got, whatever. He sees it, immediately follows me. Not even a minute later.
Wow.
He was online.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? She DM'd him, so I'll DM him. I'll say thank you for the follow.
Right.
So, again, he sends back, thanks for all the love. Love spelled L-U-V. So I was like, all right, Kobe's hype.
Kobe know that internet slang.
Kobe got the juice.
Yeah.
And he sends me a heart emoji. He's like, thanks for all the love, whatever. I was like, okay, cool. Then he gets hurt, and he's like, oh, guys, he tweets this out. He's like, what should I watch? Any show recommendations? Because this man doesn't know what a TV is. I hit him back up, and I was like, Game of Thrones, you should watch that. A month later, I checked back in with him. I was like, how do you liking it? He's like, oh, I love it. You should also watch Da Vinci's Demons on Stars.
Da Vinci? Yo, I never heard of Da Vinci's
It
Demons.
was 3 seasons. I watched it because of Kobe. It was amazing.
All right. Oh, he told you that?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I'm
have a screenshot of the DM.
Yo.
So, like, you know, we're talking about TV shows. We talked about some Laker stuff. He tweeted at me a bunch of times. That was on ESPN because it was about D'Antoni, who was the coach at the time.
So was that like your first viral moment?
Yes. And all my followers, I had like 2,000 followers, mostly Laker fans. And it was like, oh, look at you. You guys are like best friends.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like,
right.
Kobe tweeted me twice.
We have a conversation. It's just so interesting to see because a lot of the times you do hear sometimes where either someone knew exactly what they wanted to do and kind of went that direction or had some sort of skeleton or game plan, whereas for you, it was almost like the universe kind of had certain things lined up and you were just like, I'm just going to follow ball. Like you took this moment from prom, you know, and obviously something about that sparked you or gave you the further push about how you wanted it to be more community driven and you became more public on Twitter. And then because you were able to have this platform and talk to people, you know, you obviously just from that and not only the you know, the jokes that you make, but the points that you were given, the like actual your actual exactly basketball points, basketball texts that you were sending out to people were catching the attention, you know, of other notable people. And
not just players. That's
no, not even just players.
Yeah.
Even if it was just someone whose opinion is very valued or whatever, like you built this community. And then to see that, it's kind of like, in a way, you were just building your own network. What's kind of like next from there? Is it franchise or? You
know, after the Kobe follow and the first tweet back, which was about a POW joke I made, he just tweeted back LMAO, whatever.
He pulled an Elisa. All I do was just retweet LMAO.
Yeah, he just hit me with the LMAO. And some guys that weren't even following me were like, oh, he followed her because she's cute and she's Latina. I was just like, que vayan con Dios. That means in Spanish, that means go with God.
Wow.
Like I really wanted to go back at those guys, but I just left it alone because some of my followers did. Like some friends on Twitter, they don't know me in real life.
Right.
They were just like, like, you don't even follow her. You don't know she talks about, she's the biggest Laker fan. She talks about basketball all the time. She watches every team. She doesn't miss games. Like,
right.
Who the hell are you?
And
like,
that's the thing that frustrates me, and it happens in sneakers a lot. When someone wants to target like some sort of hateful comment, or they want to somewhat justify how we got to a certain spot or what gives us credibility, they automatically think it has something to do with our looks.
You know, just don't come at people. If you don't know them, you don't follow them.
Right.
It's always the ones that don't follow you, that don't know what you're about.
Right, the trolls.
Like, yeah, we have a list of opinions right here. Well, wipe your ass with it.
So now, you know, you have that light about to prove these people wrong. And is that when you started at friend? You graduated,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so I graduated. I don't know how, but I graduated. We made it.
I think a lot of us are like, we don't know how we graduated college, but we made it.
Then I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can do some freelance work.
Okay.
So shout out Bleacher Report. I think it was 2015. Yeah. But they did this whole thing with Hublot. So Hublot was the official, through Victor Cruz, they were the official sponsor for the Giants. It's a lot of time, you know, to build a network like that. And it's not just with basketball, it's with nightlife as well.
It's also funny how for you, you know, basketball, for me, sneakers has brought us like really great connections. Like when I was working at Flight Club, it was literally one of those things. I think Ray or Jordan, shout out to Ray and Jordan, put up like a photo because they were at Flight Club when I was there and literally tagged me. And I just remember you going, I feel like I should meet her too.
Yeah, so with franchise, you know, that's how we met. And franchise was, again, I was lucky enough to be part of that, part of the growth of that magazine, which is, you know, it's, for those who don't know, it's a basketball culture magazine.
Yeah, it's really great.
Art-oriented.
Yep.
Yeah. It's kind of like a piece like of art that you just want to have on your coffee
Absolutely.
table. So yeah, they reached out to me through Twitter, funny enough. They said they would send me the first issue that came out. And there was a little note in there that said, we would love to work with you. Of course, I wanted to do it. You know, and we ended up doing such great work together. I helped out, All-Star was one of the peak 2 weeks. We did great work there. We had the magazines on display. We had this amazing coffee from Japan, and we were giving the players coffee because they were in meetings the whole time.
So it's pretty much giving these players an experience other than just like you saying in a hotel, you know?
You know, Justin, the CEO of franchise, he calls me, listen, Vic, like, we need you to get the players to do the photo booth because you know the players.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'll do it. I'm like, hey guys, I'm like, what's up? You want to do the photo booth? Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm holding 2 phones. I'm like an idiot in the back. And these guys are like doing the thing.
But you know, sometimes you have to, like, that's the part I think a lot of people.
It was so fun.
It's fun, but I also think like a lot of people don't get glimpses into those little things. Like they probably obviously saw like Vic is with all these players and stuff, but it's like I'm still doing a lot of work.
I'm pretty sure I chased down Karl Anthony Towns, a cat, at some point. Like, we're cool now, but I didn't know him, you know, at All-Star. Chased him down, and I was like, you need copies of this. He's like, oh, dope, I have one of these. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, because that was also your thing, too.
Like, yeah.
Vic found a way. You could have a handful of so much shit. If you had a crevice, she was like, oh, and there you go. Here's the newest issue of franchise. And you're just like, okay, cool. But she got it. That's, again, why I'm like, you are the hustler of hustlers that I know. You had a way.
I got it to Kobe when his movie Dear Basketball came out.
Oh, right. I remember that.
I was holding a copy of
a franchise. Was that your moment where you were kind of like, yo?
That started it, and that was last summer, early summer. And then, you know, I got connected with Chris Brickley, who's an amazing trainer, and he's Carmelo Anthony's guy. So, you know.
Yo, that's what you have to talk about. That was the pivotal moment. Where I mean, there's so many, that's the thing, everything you talk about, even from just starting, you know, off a platform of Twitter, it's such a pivotal moment, and you had such a significant, I feel like you created Hoodie Mello.
No,
I mean, obviously Mello created Hoodie Mello.
Hoodie Mello.
But you brought it to the audience.
Brickley, yeah, to the NBA Twitter streets.
So how was that? So, just the whole experience of why, you know.
So the story is, one night, it's raining. Mello calls up his trainer, Brickley, and he says, yo, Chris, I want to go running. And there was a soccer field, and it's raining, so he has the hoodie on, and he's just running laps, right? And this is like after years of just things not working out with the Knicks. That video goes viral, and then Brickley becomes a sensation. Then they started Black Ops basketball. All these players are like coming through all of a sudden.
And how did you get to cover that? Oh, were you there for franchise or?
I wasn't covering that. I was just like helping Brick out with whatever he needed. I'm getting calls like, we want you on our podcast. Can you tell us what's going on?
Oh, so everyone was trying to get also like the dirt from you.
I was like, I don't know. I would get on these podcasts.
Right.
I'd be in the gym. Like, you can hear Melo saying stuff. Like,
yeah, yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not there. I'm not a reporter.
Right.
It's not my place. I was like, listen, I really didn't know.
Right.
Next day, he gets traded to Oklahoma. And he's out.
Yeah.
And that was that day was his final day at Sky training.
That's crazy. So you do that. You know, you have this great experience. I remember seeing all the photos and stuff, and you captured some really great content. So then what happened after?
I consulted with Jordan Brand.
That's pretty much what you're doing now.
Yeah, yeah. So brand consulting, athlete relations, stuff like that. You know, consulted with Jordan Brand. That was really cool about some marketing ideas. You know, it was, you build these relationships, and then you have players kind of asking you to do some PR stuff for them. So it really depends. You know, I covered the Gatorade Awards in LA last month. That was really cool.
So pretty much, to break it down to most basic of terms, you're kind of like the Jane of all trades, but for NBA athletes.
I try.
Yeah, you try.
You know, I feel like it's getting there.
You know, just like sneakers, there is a lack of women in NBA. And, you know, we touched briefly upon this, but how do you feel now, like, just in general about either the lack of representation or the disrespect, or even like how women are represented? Do you feel like it's gotten better? Do you feel like there's still, do you also feel like you're contributing to paving more of a way for women?
I don't know if I'm paving a way yet. Hopefully at some point.
I think you are. Because people can look up to just your hustle alone and be like, shit, even if it's something as simple.
That's the thing. Like, yeah, like, I don't think creativity and talent and hard work has anything to do with age.
Right.
Everyone's like, oh, you're so young. Yeah, I'm 25. And oh, yeah, you've seen a lot. Anyone can do it.
Hustle doesn't have an age, though.
No.
Right.
People can start at 12. You can start at 25. You can start at 40. I don't care. That's what I'm saying. Creativity, hard work, and talent don't have age, don't see age, color, or gender. And I feel like, you know, ladies like Kristen Ledlow and Cassidy Hubbarth and Rachel Nichols, they're the ones paving the way. These are women that they do it all.
And that's dope, but it's just like the world of sneakers is very synonymous with that. I do think it's changing, and you can see that with, you know, the collabs that Nike and other brands are coming out with. Like Nike just did that collab with Vogue and Anna Wintour, and I mean, I know some people criticize it, but I'm like,
next week.
Girl.
I got the all white.
But you know what, speaking of sneakers, you know, going back, I mean, we obviously see your swag here. You're always going to rep, you know, the Lakers colors. But what do you have on right now?
I have these Air Force Ones, all white. Only, I think, 100 made.
Yeah, that's right. 100 made.
Yeah.
And you have one of them.
Winners. Shout out Paul Rivera.
Yes. Because you have the embossed hustle and loyalty on that.
Hustle, loyalty. There's love.
Also, it's summer.
Family.
Shout out to wearing some motherfucking technically uptowns in the summer.
And rolling with the winners.
No, those are super dope, and you don't see too many people with them. Obviously, there's 100 pairs made.
No, and inside it says crew only, not for sale.
Obviously, these are one of your favorites. What are some other sneakers that you like to rock? Because I know you're always mixing and matching from just casual, you know, also black tone. I think every New Yorker, I'm wearing. Do you think your style is more dependent on mood? Or is it very much like you like to combine the two worlds of sneakers and like high fashion?
I like combining.
Because you have some off-whites, right?
I have some off-whites. I actually wore them earlier today.
Over a helicopter.
Yeah.
So how do you usually like to style, like when you are wearing your sneakers? How do you like to wear them?
So, I mean, I can do, like in Miami, for example, I had this really cute dress on and Yeezys. So I'll do the summer dress, sneaker vibe. I love that. You know, and just mostly black. Like I said, like that's what I wear most of the year.
So I don't want to take up too much of your time, although obviously I love being in your presence. But what's next for Vic?
I want to bring in just the dopest people, mostly women, and just start something. Whether it's an athlete relation, brand consulting, agency, or something around those lines by the time I'm 28, that'd be the dream.
Yeah. I think it's so important to kind of have a goal, even if it's like you just have a benchmark, like 28, but even if it happens at 27 or 29 or even 30, it's still like you had a landmark, so to speak, and we can't beat ourselves up. But I think that's super
I
dope.
think the goal for the both of us, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
is to have our own shoe. One of these brands, sponsor us, please.
Facts. Just sponsor us. You know, we'll make it lit, you know.
We're here.
2 bomb girls, but, you know, thank you so much.
I love you so much.
I love you. I'm like, I don't know what's, I didn't know we were supposed to dap. What was that? What was that
do we
deal?
need a handshake? Like,
We don't really need a handshake. Right. But this was dope. All right, we good.
babe. Thank you.
Thank you.